Things are finally starting to click in Santa Clara, and you can feel it in the air. No more contract chaos, no more off-season drama, and no more waiting games that stretch into training camp. The 49ers have clearly learned from their past mistakes, and they're wasting no time locking down their core players before the market resets and forces them to pay more than they should. Now, with tight end George Kittle and quarterback Brock Purdy both signed to major extensions, San Francisco is putting the final piece of its offseason puzzle in place. A massive contract extension for all-pro linebacker Fred Warner. And honestly, it's about time. Fred Warner isn't just another great player. They don't make many like him. He's the heartbeat of this Niners defense, the quarterback of the unit, the guy who's always where the ball is, even before the offense knows where it's going. And as the team inches closer to making him the highest-paid off-ball linebacker in NFL history, the move speaks volumes about where this franchise is heading. It's not just about stacking stars. It's about building around leaders, guys who show up, do the work, and don't let contract disputes become soap operas on social media. Just look at how things unfolded with Brandon Aiyuk last year. That entire situation dragged on for months, filled with cryptic tweets, Instagram hints, and a front office that hesitated to commit. The result? A reset market, rising wide receiver salaries, and the 49ers having to fork over around $30 million per season when they could have wrapped it up for less than $25. Aiyuk himself admitted he would have signed earlier for a lower number, but the offer just wasn't there. That hesitation cost them, not just in dollars, but in team harmony. The offseason was clouded by uncertainty. That tension carried into the regular season. And whether the team admitted it or not, it showed on the field. The offense lacked flow. The rhythm was off. And instead of fully locking in on football, everyone was wondering who was going to get paid next. Or worse, who was going to walk away. But not this year. The front office seems to have turned the page. They're attacking this offseason like a team that understands time is money, literally. The earlier you sign your guys, the less you risk having to overpay when the market spikes. And the deals they've already secured prove that. Brock Purdy's contract, for instance, is a textbook example of getting ahead of the curve. They signed him for $53 million per year. Solid money, no doubt, but it's not going to stay top tier for long. Right now, he's tied for the 7th highest paid quarterback in the league. But as guys like Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, and others ink new contracts, that ranking is going to drop fast. In just a year or two, that deal could look like a bargain. Same with George Kittle. Tight ends still represent one of the best values in football when you compare their salaries to what top wideouts are earning. Wide receivers are now commanding $35, $40, even $45 million per year. Tight ends? Still under 20. Kittle's new deal makes him the highest paid tight end ever at just over $19 million annually. And that's only about $100,000 more than what Trey McBride got. Hardly an overpay. Kittle is worth every penny. He's a multi-time All-Pro, the emotional leader of the offense, and someone who plays with the kind of intensity that sets the tone for the entire team. That's the kind of guy you pay early, not someone you leave dangling until the 11th hour. And now, it's Fred Warner's turn. His current deal, signed back in 2021, was a 5-year extension worth just over $95 million. At the time, it made him the highest-paid linebacker in the league. But the market has moved since then. Roquan Smith is making $20 million a year. Players like Zach Bond and Nick Bolton just got significant bumps. It's only fair that Warner, arguably the best linebacker in football, gets a new deal that reflects not just his performance, but his value to this organization. And let's be real, this isn't just about stats, although the numbers are ridiculous. In just 7 seasons, Warner has nearly 900 tackles, over 500 of them solo. He's forced 15 fumbles, picked off 10 passes, returned 2 for touchdowns, and knocked down more than 50 passes. He's got double-digit sacks and an uncanny ability to sniff out plays before they even develop. But it's not just the production. It's the presence, the leadership, the durability. He's missed just 1 game since he entered the league, a level of availability that's almost unheard of in today's NFL. And let's not forget, he was a 3rd-round pick. This wasn't some can't-miss first-rounder. This was a guy who worked his way into elite status from day one, and he's done it without ever being a distraction. While some players, no names needed, have taken to Twitter or Instagram to vent frustrations or hint at contract holdouts, Warner has done the opposite. He shows up. He leads by example. And this offseason, he's been all in at team facilities, participating in programs, staying visible, and keeping the focus where it belongs. On football. That's the kind of player you reward. That's the kind of tone setter you keep around. And the 49ers know it. This contract extension isn't just a financial move. It's a message to the locker room, to the fan base, to the league. San Francisco is doubling down on its identity. Tough, disciplined, unified. They're choosing players who bring more than talent. They bring structure. They bring character. They bring stability in a sport where that's often the hardest thing to find. And it's not a coincidence that this renewed sense of urgency from the front office is coming after one of the most disappointing seasons in recent memory. Last year's 6-win campaign was a gut punch. On paper, the roster was loaded, but something always fell off. You could see it in the body language. You could hear it in the press conferences. Too many distractions. Too many unanswered questions about contracts, roles, and futures. And when that stuff hangs over a team, it eventually weighs them down. That's what happened in 2024. But now the Niners are being proactive. They're creating clarity. They've let go of some veterans, cleared out cap space, eaten some dead money, and made way for what's next. The rookies are in, the stars are signed, and the focus is finally back where it should be, on the field. No more wondering if someone's going to skip minicamp. No more side eyes during practice. This team knows who its leaders are. They're in the building, they're under contract, and they're locked in. And Fred Warner is the perfect embodiment of that. He's not flashy off the field. He's not interested in headlines or highlight reels. He's just a football player through and through. Smart, physical, passionate. The kind of guy you can build a defense around, not just for a season, but for the long haul. At 28, he's still in his prime. And if history is any guide, he's got plenty of elite football ahead of him. Ray Lewis was a Pro Bowler into his mid-30s. Bobby Wagner is still making plays in his 30s. Great linebackers age well when they take care of their bodies and play with their minds as much as their muscles. Warner checks every box. He's durable, he's disciplined, and he's got that rare ability to elevate everyone around him. You don't find players like that often, and when you do, you don't let them get away. So yes, paying him over $20 million per year might seem steep at first glance. But context matters. Look at what off-ball linebackers are getting now. Zach Bond pulled in 17. James Sherwood and Nick Bolton are around 15. Even second-tier guys are breaking into 8 figures annually. For someone like Warner, who's not just elite, but reliable, respected, and revered, $20+ million is more than fair. It's a reflection of what he's worth not just to the defense, but to the entire franchise. And here's the kicker. He wants to be here. This isn't a guy looking for a quick payday or an escape route. He's invested. He's proud to wear the red and gold. And the Niners, finally, are showing that they're just as invested in him. That mutual respect goes a long way in building a winning culture. Because when your best players are also your best people, everything else tends to fall into place. That's what this offseason has been about, cutting the noise, locking in the leaders, and sending a clear signal that the 49ers are done with distractions. They're building something real again, something solid, something sustainable. And as the season creeps closer, fans can breathe a little easier knowing that Fred Warner, the soul of this defense, isn't going anywhere. He's staying right where he belongs. And what's wild is, even with all this contract talk, Fred Warner's focus hasn't slipped for a second. While most players in his position would have pulled back, skipped OTAs, maybe even gone radio silent to create leverage, Fred's been the exact opposite. He's shown up to everything. He's been in meetings, mentoring rookies, setting the tone in drills, doing the work without needing a spotlight on him. That's rare. You don't usually see that level of buy-in from a guy who knows he could hold out and probably get what he wants. But that's Fred. He's wired differently. He knows respect isn't demanded, it's earned. And every day he's in the building, he's earning it all over again. That's part of why this new deal doesn't just feel like business. It feels personal in the best way. You can see in the way the front office is operating. It's not just about cap numbers or spreadsheets anymore. It's about identity, about keeping the right people in-house. Guys who care, guys who elevate the standard. And with Fred, you're getting all of that. You're getting the guy who's yelling from the sideline even when he's not in the game. You're getting the guy who spends film sessions making sure the younger players are picking up the details. You're getting the guy who walks into a room and everyone sits up a little straighter. That's leadership. That's what you build around. And sure, critics are going to nitpick. They'll say paying an off-ball linebacker this much isn't smart in today's pass-heavy league. They'll talk about positional value and how edge rushers and corners matter more. But that's missing the point. Fred's value isn't just about his position. It's about his presence. He erases tight ends in coverage, shuts down running backs, calls out audibles before the snap, and closes space in ways that just don't show up on a stat sheet. His football IQ is off the charts. His instincts are elite. And when the game's on the line, there's no one else you'd rather have in the middle of your defense. The truth is, you can't put a price on what he brings. Not really, because when you're trying to win championships, not just games, but titles, you need anchors. Players who never flinch, no matter what the scoreboard says. Players who bring calm to chaos. Fred is that guy. Always has been. And now, finally, he's getting treated like it. This extension feels like a turning point, honestly. Like the 49ers are done playing around with their window. No more hesitating. No more dragging negotiations into August. They're moving with purpose, keeping their core intact, taking care of the guys who've earned it. Not just with big plays, but with consistency and character. That's how you build a dynasty. You start by locking down your foundation. And with Warner's new deal, that foundation just got even stronger. So when week 1 kicks off, don't be surprised if this team comes out different. Sharper, tighter, more focused. Because behind all the talent, all the hype, there's a reason this locker room believes. And his name is Fred Warner. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a shocking turn of events within the NFL community, Christian McCaffrey, the star running back, has publicly criticized wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk in a statement that has sent ripples through the sports world. Known for his calm demeanor and team-first attitude, McCaffrey's unexpected outburst has caught fans and analysts alike off guard, sparking intense debates about player dynamics and professionalism on and off the field. The controversy began when McCaffrey, during a recent interview, made a blunt and critical remark about Aiyuk's performance and attitude. While McCaffrey did not hold back, describing Aiyuk as underperforming and lacking the consistency expected at the professional level, his comments went beyond mere critique of gameplay. He questioned Aiyuk's work ethic and commitment, insinuating that the young receiver's approach to training and games was less than professional. This candid critique was especially surprising given the tendency of players to support each other publicly to maintain team cohesion. Fans and sports commentators have since been dissecting McCaffrey's remarks, wondering about the possible fallout within their respective teams. Both players have substantial followings, and their reputations are critical to their careers. The NFL is no stranger to internal conflicts made public, but such a direct and sharp criticism from a peer of McCaffrey's caliber is rare and significant. It raises questions about locker room dynamics and whether this could impact team morale and performance in the upcoming games. Brandon Aiyuk, known for his explosive plays and dynamic presence on the field, has yet to respond directly to McCaffrey's comments. However, insiders suggest that the young receiver is focused on proving his doubters wrong through his performances rather than engaging in a public feud. This reaction strategy often plays well with fans and coaches, emphasizing professionalism despite the pressure. This episode also highlights the broader pressures NFL players face, where expectations are immense and every performance is scrutinized by coaches, teammates, and fans alike. The stakes are high, and tensions can rise, leading to moments like this that reveal underlying frustrations. McCaffrey's candidness, though controversial, may stem from a desire to push the standards higher, reflecting a competitive spirit that demands excellence from everyone on the field. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.